So we're standing in front of...
well, this is the NAMM booth with all the new stuff for January. Right directly behind us is the new American Original Series. If you want to tiptoe over there, we can go take a closer look at some of these. These are our vintage style instruments that are kind of like reissues of how we made guitars in the 50s and 60s. This is kind of replacing our American Vintage series. We made some key changes when we changed it over to the American Original series. One of the things we did was we had previously been doing guitars based on very specific years.
I have a 62 Hot Rod, vintage
Cool.
Hot Rod.
Oh, that's a really good one. So just like that, we would do like a 62 Strat or a 57 Strat. In the very last iteration of the American Vintage series, we had a 56 Strat, a 59 Strat, and a 65 Strat. What we're doing now is kind of decades of guitars, so we'll have a 50 Strat, a 60 Strat. What that allows us to do is kind of combine features that you could have found in the entire decade of the 60s on one guitar, which is kind of fun. So I'm holding the 60 Strat in Olympic White. What we've got here is a 60 C shape with a rosewood board. These pickups are actually our pure vintage 65 pickups, and these instruments are all lacquer. Some of the things we changed, we wanted to add a few little pieces that would add playability. Vintage instruments have a really curved radius and tiny frets. A lot of people fight with the guitar with that kind of a configuration, so we made the radii of all the guitars and basses 9.5-inch radius. So it's a little flatter, it's a little easier to bend notes, you can set your action a little lower, and we made the frets a little tiny bit taller, so they're vintage tall frets, which means again it's a little bit easier to bend a note, and you get a little bit more life out of them if you're doing a level crown or polish. So that was a key thing. We still kept the lacquer finish, all the vintage correct hardware, vintage correct pickups that are made with fiber bobbins and cloth pucker wire and Almaco pickups. And we also started reintroducing a lot of our cool vintage colors. On the American Vintage series, we had whittled the color mix down to like basically bursts and white blonde and things like that. But as you can see from the wall behind me, now we have cool Lake Placid blues, candy apple reds, and ocean turquoise. So we're trying to infuse the cool Fender car colors back into the line too. And we've brought the price down, so it's a much more attractive price point too. So the new models are like a 50s and 60s Strat, a 50s and 60s Tele. Actually, the Tele's really cool. We haven't offered a double-bound vintage-style Tele in a while. This is based on a custom Telecaster. This is Lake Placid blue with a double-bound body. People seem to love that treatment. It looks really classy. So this is a model that we didn't previously have in the American Vintage series. We're kind of bringing it back. And then, of course, we have 60s Jaguar and Jazz Masters, and then a full complement of 50s, 60s, and 70s P and J basses. So the vibe here is completely vintage hardware and pickups, lacquer finishes, cool vintage colors. That's kind of the whole deal with the American Original series.
Thank you so much for showing us. Where to next? Here we are at the Eric Johnson Signature Stratocaster inline section.
Correct.
Yes.
Eric Johnson's always been one of our most popular signature models. We've had it in the line for many, many years. He's a very well-respected guitarist that influences people heavily. Whatever gear he's into, people seem to follow it very closely. Since he's one of our artists, we work with him from time to time. He recently, well not recently, like maybe a couple years ago, said that he wanted to work on a new project. He obviously has other instruments that are semi-hollow, and he loves the semi-hollow thing. Every time he was playing semi-hollows, he wondered what would it be like to have a Strat with a semi-hollow body, and we've done that before.
I'm very interested in this.
Yeah, so in the past we would have done a flat top to do a semi-hollow body, which means you would lose the bent arm top here, and you would lose some of the Strat contours. It would be a flat body. And Eric came to us and said, let's try and do a Strat thin line, but make it a real Strat with all the beautiful curves and the bent top. I don't want it a flat top. I want it to feel just like my Strat would be a thin line. So he said, can you guys do that? And we said, we'd love to try. And it was kind of a feat for our engineering department to figure out how to do this, and they did it. Basically what we have here is a guitar that has a top and a back, and there's some chambers here on the bottom part, and then we put a top over it. And then Eric actually experimented with a lot of different woods. Ash top, ash bottom, ash top, alder bottom. He experimented, and the recipe he liked the best was alder top with an alder bottom. And so we hit the nail on the head and we're able to actually do a thin line Strat with the proper Strat contours all the way around. Something very new that we've never really done before. Otherwise, it's like a pretty accurate Eric Johnson Strat. All his same pickups, all the same features of his signature model, just with a thin line body. It makes it a lot lighter, obviously, but it also lends a beautiful kind of warm tone due to the nature of the thin line area. And
do you know the girl guitar players like the lightness factor?
I think everybody likes that.
Yeah, it's definitely lighter.
And obviously you see the two different colors. We're offering it in 2 color sunburst and vintage white.
Now what is the radius on this one?
12-inch radius. Yeah, he likes a flatter radius. And there's really tons of other cool features. Custom wound pickups. He's actually very specific. When we pot the pickups in wax, we have to pot them with wax at a certain temperature. He's got staggered vintage tuners that don't need a string tree. It eliminates the need for a string tree. You can see if you hold the guitar to the side that there's different heights. Every 2 posts have a different height. If you flip the guitar over, there's some interesting features where there's no screw holes to mount a back plate. He likes it like that. He has a special neck plate. So it's an Eric Johnson Strat in every way, shape, or form, but with this cool thin line body. And obviously that's it harkens back to a thin line Telecaster. But this is something that he just loved. When we hit the nail on the head, he got the recipe right. He just loved it. He's been playing these at his shows. And so we're really proud to be able to work with some of his stature on something brand new like this. That's the Eric Johnson thin line Strat.
Beautiful.
But I know that
So we're here in the Parallel Universe.
That's right. This is our brand new limited edition collection for 2018. The Parallel Universe, the idea here is Fenders are very easily customized. You can change necks and pickguards and parts really easy and make it your own. We wanted to kind of follow that ethos and also mix and match some popular elements of our different models together and see what we could come up with. So it was kind of a fun exercise. And as you can see, we came up with a lot of models that do just that. What we're looking at here is the Meteora, which kind of harkens back to a modified Jazzmaster shape, but with Telecaster hardware as far as the pickups and knobs and kind of a Jazzmaster neck. So it's a nice mishmash of all sorts of different Fender elements. The series is going to have 9 models that are going to launch once a month from April to December. And there's just a whole bunch of neat stuff. This is a Telecaster that has a maple top that's fully bound, and it's a mahogany, solid mahogany neck and body with a rosewood board. 2 Tim Shaw designed Shawbuckers, hardtail, so it's a modified Telly with a larger Strat headstock. This is one of my favorites in the series. It's called the Troublemaker Telly. You're in trouble now. Limited edition Telly Thinline Super Deluxe. Obviously this is kind of like a Cadillac of Telecasters. It's got all the high-end appointments, blocks, binding on the neck, double bound body, silver sparkle pickguard. These instruments are all lacquer, so they're our best finishes, our best pickups. We have TV Jones on this particular model. This is a semi-hollow body. So again, it's just trying to mix and match different elements from Fender land. This is a Strat with all Telly hardware. It's kind of, your eyes get kind of crossed when you look at it. You're like, wait a second, is that a Telecaster or a Strat? But that was kind of the concept of the Parallel Universe. This is one of our favorites. This is really difficult to do because the Jaguar pickguard assembly kind of didn't fit perfectly into the Strat. We tried a few different things. We had this control plate curving the other way so it could follow the curvature of the body, and we tried just removing this plate altogether because it takes up a lot of room here. And then in the end we said, no, we wanted to look just like a Jaguar inside a Strat body. So we kept it true to a Jaguar shape here on the inside. These are actually 65 pickups, and these are 2 neck pickups in the neck and middle position and a bridge pickup here. And it has a Strat switch, so you can get all 5 Strat style switching positions. So there's a lot of cool little elements like that. This is a 51 Telecaster bass. This is kind of a Telly-like slab body with a Telecaster headstock, custom shop, P&J pickups, again all lacquer. So these are just very fun, high-end great playing great sounding instruments. If you want to get B-roll of the other ones, we have a whole other host of models on that end.
Chunky body on the TJ configuration with the Telecaster.
So the Meteora. Yeah. So it's kind of like a
Right? You have to look at it. It's like a motorcycle accident.
This is another, some of these models actually have two different colors. This is another version of the Troublemaker Telly with an ice blue metallic finish. But again, mahogany body, mahogany neck, rosewood board, Shawbucker pickups. Here's another one that has two colors. We're going to Jazz Telly.
So
This Jazz Telly is obviously a Telecaster body with the Jazzmaster neck and Jazzmaster hardware. This is another tricky one to get right because you're trying to fit all the Jazzmaster hardware into this Telly profile. But the plant did a great job. 65 pure vintage pickups, bound Jazzmaster neck. We did a lot of Tellys in this series. Tellys seem to be a great body to start as a modifiable platform. It just seems to be very easy to modify Telecasters. This is a Nashville style Telecaster based on our Elite series. So it's got compound radius, it's got a really cool new neck profile on the heel here, cutaway profile. The truss rod is the new wheel adjust from the Elite series. Cool thing about this is the HSS configuration. Direct mount Shawbucker humbucker with 264 Telly pickups. But this also has the Strat style 5-way switch. Ash body and this really nice aged cherry burst. This is interesting that we decided to mount the bridge pickup in the middle, but we still mounted it like it was a Telly bridge pickup. And then finally, the Strat Telly hybrid. That's kind of the opposite of the one we looked at down there with the Telly body and the Strat pickup. We've actually done this one before, but again, all high-end appointments with custom shop 69 Strat pickups.
You can have any guitar you want, any guitar you can dream of, Fender can make.
And this is just a way to have something new every month for a major part of the year, so that you're always wanting to see what's new in a store, to go see the new, Parallel Universe model. That's the Parallel Universe collection. We're standing in front of our Jazzmaster wall here. This year is the 60th anniversary of the Jazzmaster, and to commemorate that, we have 3 different models. The center model has 4 different colors. But these are anniversary models to celebrate the release of the Jazzmaster in '58. This is a US-made '58 style Jazzmaster. It's interesting that this is actually a picture of an early catalog featuring the Jazzmaster for the first time, and the prototype they showed in the catalog was totally different than what they started producing. Later on they had white pickup covers and different style knobs, and we decided to do a reissue of the actual prototype from the catalog that we didn't really build. And so it has black pickup covers, knurled Telecaster knobs, and it's all lacquer.
I really like this one.
And they have these cool limited edition neck plates. Whoops, I'll take that off so you can get a picture of that. Commemorating the 60th anniversary of the Jazzmaster. These are all limited to this year, so they'll probably end up being pretty collectible. We're going to build as many orders as we take for the first quarter of the year. This middle model is kind of a reproduction of a 66 style Jazzmaster that has matching head cap and blocks and binding. This seems to be a very beloved version of the Jazzmaster from 1966, obviously because aesthetically it looks really, really cool. And you see these cool vintage colors, Daphne Blue, Fiesta Red. And then finally on the end, if you get a chance to show that, a modern looking triple Jazzmaster that we designed is kind of, again, to kind of show that you can modify your Jazzmaster. That's got 3 Tim Shaw designed humbuckers, and that's all lacquer too. That's called the triple Jazzmaster. These are all 60th anniversary models that are going to be limited building only this year.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For showing us around all the new and wonderful guitars. I will take one of each.
So, I just need your credit card.
Gotcha. Thank you so much, Al.
Thank you. like